ABC News senior investigative reporter Aaron Katersky has been following the controversy. He joins me now with more on this. Aaron, this started with an order back in March for nursing homes to readmit patients still recovering from COVID-19. Walk us through that chain of events.
That was back on March 25th. It was a directive that New York and a number of other states took, Diane, and they were following CDC guidance at the time. Nursing home residents had tested positive, had to be hospitalized, and once they were discharged from the hospital, even if they had not yet fully tested negative, the state said they had to be readmitted to their nursing home. There was really nowhere else to put them. Remember, at the time, hospitals were becoming overrun. There was concern about bed space, and the hospitals just did not have the capacity to do the kind of recuperative care that may have been a better alternative in hindsight. The state says it still stands by that decision. It was rescinded several weeks later, and there was more flexibility in the system. But that, critics said, moving patients between hospitals and nursing homes may have increased the number of deaths associated with nursing homes, and it was why the death toll in nursing homes was so high. The Cuomo administration has said there's no evidence of that policy alone did not fuel COVID in nursing homes, that 98% of nursing homes already were infected with COVID because of staff members bringing it in from the outside before any discharged patient ever returned.
And Aaron, the New York Attorney General says that if the nursing home deaths had been recorded properly, they could have been 50% higher. What impact could that have had on efforts to stop the spread if they were able to pinpoint those deaths to the nursing homes?
This is really where the Cuomo administration seems to have gone wrong, Diane. They clearly were defensive about the idea that they had mishandled the crisis in nursing homes. Governor Cuomo had been getting such high marks early in the pandemic for how he handled the crisis overall, but nursing homes really became a tough spot for him, and where his critics really dug in. Critics especially like former President Trump, who was constantly being compared to Cuomo in terms of adequacy of response, and wanted to take him down a peg. And Cuomo's people say this all became politicized. But families whose loved one died in nursing homes wondered if the Cuomo administration did everything they could, if they had understood who was dying from coronavirus and why, maybe things could have been a little bit different, and maybe their loved ones could have been saved. And the state's health commissioner, Howard Zucker, appeared before a state legislative committee just yesterday, and he said that some of this was a problem in data reporting, and they're going to try to fix it going forward. But the criticism lingers, and it's still a stain on Cuomo's handling of the pandemic.
And Cuomo's top aide admitted that they covered up this data out of fear that President Trump's administration would use it against them. What do you make of that reasoning?
They're probably right about that. But I think it does show a defensive-ness rather than try to explain the reasoning for their decision at the outset or explain, why they may have messed with the numbers. They just decided to withhold those numbers. And they told the state legislature that they were too busy. They were dealing with a federal investigation, and they just couldn't come clean. So they slow walked the numbers on purpose. And the reason they gave was because the Trump administration was going to use it against the Cuomo administration. They may have been right about that, but state lawmakers say that still doesn't excuse the idea that you have to come clean with a request. And they've used the excuse, Diane, to now try to reassert themselves. Governor Cuomo is known for his brash style and sometimes for going it alone and maybe not fully recognizing the legislative branch in the state. And so with him on the ropes, state lawmakers have now said they're going to try and check his power. And there could be a vote as soon as next week in the state Senate to do just that. So
what other consequences could Cuomo face over all of this? Is impeachment on the table?
Well, Republicans certainly would like it, and they've called for it, but we're not sure that they're going to be able to muster enough support to actually get Cuomo out of office, and he's certainly not going to go quietly. But this is one of the biggest crises he has ever faced in his now 3 terms as governor. His excuse is always look at the results. And the state positivity rate has come down. The death rate has come down. Overall, the state has been, weathering the crisis pretty well. But the sexual harassment allegations have not been fully vetted or fully answered. He still faces deepening calls over his leadership style to make some changes. And state lawmakers may well try to put a check on his power. It may ultimately not be the kind of robust check that his critics would like, but it would certainly be the first time since he has been governor that state lawmakers have asserted themselves in this way.
And Aaron, the governor's expected to hold a briefing today or on Monday. You described his normal brash kind of way of addressing these things. He's been known to even insult reporters who ask questions that he doesn't like. He has vehemently denied a lot of the things being asked about now. How do you think he will address these controversies at this stage?
It's hard to see him suddenly coming to contrition. He and his aides have always said, New York politics isn't for everybody. It isn't always pretty. It isn't always nice. Sometimes it requires bare knuckles, and that's perfectly fine with Andrew Cuomo. But he's being called to account for that. And that style that has worked for him in the past and may well have worked for him early in the pandemic is now, kind of rubbing people the wrong way. He wrote a book touting his leadership style as the state was still going through the pandemic. That also kind of rubbed people the wrong way. And so there is this notion now that he needs to be brought down a peg. Cuomo, though, does have to answer the sexual harassment allegation from his former aide, Lindsey Boylan. He has done it previously. His first chance to do it could be today if he decides to hold a Friday briefing, as he usually does.
All right, Aaron Katersky. Thank you, Aaron. We appreciate it.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.